And we're back with some more Oxygen Not Included. Frosty DLC edition. Not that we're doing much Frosty stuff anymore, but right now what we're doing is we are putting in the plumbing on our rocket chimney. This is a little bit of a project. Now, we've got aqua tuners in here to cool down the steam turbines because the steam turbines produce heat. Thing is, how many aqua tuners do you need to delete enough heat out of all the turbines? And it turns out it's about one aqua tuner running supercoolant can cool down 12 steam turbines. Assuming those steam turbines are not processing steam at over 200 C. So long as it's 200 C steam or less, 12 steam turbines is fine. A few people were wondering how I figured this out. One thing you could do is just get supercoolant, figure out its amount of heat capacity. You can look up the heat capacity of anything by just going into the properties of it, and you can see its specific heat capacity. Then you can multiply that by the amount of, by 14 degrees, because that's how much temperature you're going to be dropping, and then you do it in 10 kilo packets, and you can do a bunch of complicated math. Or go to the community wiki for Oxygen Not Included, look up the aquatuner, look up supercoolant, and I will tell you how much heat of DTUs is moved, which is 1,181,600 DTUs. Great. Now we have to figure out how much a steam turbine eats, which means we go to the community wiki and go to steam turbine and look up how much heat is transferred to the turbine if you run 200 C steam through it. And it's 91.76, which seems very low, until you realize that's kilo DTUs, so 1,000 DTUs. So then we run this 91,760, divide that into 1,181,000, 12.8 steam turbines. So assuming that you're running at a 200 C for all 12 steam turbines, you can use one aquatuner using supercoolant to cool the lot of them. Well, actually 12.8, but you know, that's like a partial one. We're not going to really work with that. Plus, we did all our steam turbines in batches of 3, so it's either 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. There's no real cutoff there. So perfect. That seems to work out quite nicely. We've put in all the plumbing for all of these. It's going to be, well, kind of what you'd expect from these things. Goes through here, rotates up, passes through some gold piping. We're going to put a layer of oil around all of them, and it goes all the way up to the top, and then right back down again. Also, another thing we should probably do is wall in this background of space to prevent the steam escaping. Then we might want to put in rocket bunker door. Like, the thing is, we don't really need rocket bunker doors for this build once we have enough steam being produced. This thing should produce more than enough steam down here that'll take forever to get to the top, and we'll be able to drain the heat and all of that out of it as we go. So slowly leaking at the top won't be that much of a problem long term, but short term at least we should maybe make an attempt to wall this up, at least to the top. Lots of little bits and pieces need to go together to get this running. Right now we're just putting down layers of petroleum on everything, and we'll copy you up to the next few. And you got to keep an eye on them. We could probably put in plumbing, but honestly, we have so much stuff running everywhere at the moment. I don't want to be adding more stuff to our construction queue. Our construction queue at the moment is just full to the brim with piping. Not just piping, though. These things as well. And we're going to build that whole section up there. We got to wall off the vacuum of space. So right now, I'm just slowly but surely grinding our way up to the top. And what? Nope, no, that one's done. That one's done. Yeah, here we are. This is the next one. So those two will go, and then we'll copy you up to there, and we'll just keep slowly but surely advancing. That is just about done. We got a few tiles in there. I've put that on a low priority build. And over here, we're using the new bottle drainers. They are interesting. They just dump their liquid contents into whatever piping is hooked up to them. This makes it much easier to fill cooling loops. I should have been using this ages ago, though we're almost out of supercoolant already. I realize I'm going to need a lot more supercoolant. I may have to actually pre-fill some of these with nectar and then run them at lower temperatures until we can get our hands on more supercoolant. I just did not realize how much you're going to need. Actually, I can probably dismantle a cooling loop over here. Yeah, there's like a couple of cooling loops in here that I can extract the supercoolant from. Oh man, actually, how much spare supercoolant can I find? Is there other stuff I can dismantle? I can dismantle the supercoolant loop there as well. Is that supercoolant? Yeah. There's a few bits and pieces we can scrounge together, but yeah, I maybe should have planned that ahead a bit better. Oh wow, that's a lot of piping. Nope. We're not going to worry. Wow, that is actually very neat and orderly piping, if I do say so myself. Just on this right side. Ignore all this stuff on the left side, and just this stuff on the right side. Actually looks like it was put together by someone who knew what they were doing, kind of almost. All right, let me finish off loading up the supercoolant. The construction there should be done. We're going to hollow out 7 tiles and launch our rocket in a bit once we get all the cooling loops filled. And since we're running low on supercoolant, I should probably fill the bottom ones first to make sure the maximum amount of heat, which will be down here, will get cooled as much as possible. I think the prep work is pretty much done. Anyway, the cooling loops, we don't have enough supercoolant. We're a little bit shy, but that's fine. We've got a cooling loop down here, cooling loop here. I think that one's full as well. Actually, no, this one is not quite full. I think there's a gap in it. Wait, no, that one does. That's full. This one is just got nectar in it. And I looked at the same tables as before, and this should support about 140 degrees. If we set the temperatures in here to 145, should be able to keep those steam turbines cool enough. Also, that one's missing a steam turbine, so it probably helps. This one here, I'm starting to fill with supercoolant, but we're a little bit shy. We'll have to do a few more trips to get enough supercoolant to fill that one off. And then all the rest, all the way up to the top, are set to 145 degrees, and they're full of nectar because we can't really do anything about that. All right, so basically we're going to have to start running this, immediately start bringing down as much fullerene as we possibly can so we can start making more supercoolant, which means we got to get our first dupe in. Which means, who do we want for this? Let's see. Actually, we do have a Yunners available, so I suppose it would be sort of thematically appropriate to have them to be the first to be entombed. All right, you, hop in there. Then we're going to have to fuel the rocket. 166, 166. Easy peasy. All we got to do now is hook this up. And that can go to there, and that can go to there. It's all insulate. Perfect. It's flowing. Did I set these correctly? Current ambient temperature. I'll send green if above, I want to say, 800 kgs. We don't want it dropping too low because then it causes problems with flashing and stuff like that. And this one over here, oxygen only goes up to 500 kilos. So if you're above 400, then you should turn on. Perfect. Now, I was advised to replace the... I put non-insulate tiles here, or non-insulate piping. But I was advised once this thing backs up, it would start breaking those pipes. So this entire thing is just bridges and insulate. And the bridges are made of... It doesn't actually matter what the bridges are made of. And that should slowly start filling up everything. You are... Yeah, you should be done, are you? Done. And... done. Right. No astronaut assigned. No. I assigned an astronaut, unless I put them in the wrong one. Ah, damn it. Sorry about that. Gunners, get out. Somehow I had disabled the rocket capsule. Also, we were missing an atmosuit, but we've made some atmosuits. Gunners is on the way. We'll load them in, and then it should just be a case of setting this in round trip. We'll have to set up some automation and all that, but for now, we just want to start the tunnel and see, well, we might need to put more water into these steam turbine areas just to make sure that they don't overheat. We might need, actually, no, probably more water. Anything else? That's the one problem I can foresee. We also want to make sure that any steam that we get in here, we want the option of pumping a bunch of it into the steam engines. We got to put steam into the steam rockets, and we're going to use the hydrogen's steam to do that. It'll be a little bit hot at the start, but that's why we got thermium gas pumps. They're good up to temperatures of, 975 degrees. It'll be a little bit hotter than that, but they'll be fine. Okay, Yunners is Yunners actually in that? Where are you? Oh, finally, Yunners is on board. In that case, we can deconstruct the gantry. They won't be needing that again. Sweep all of that up. Well, they won't be needing it unless something goes horribly wrong. We've already placed a rocket above them, but there's no collision damage. Well, last I checked, rockets can pass through each other. They didn't really consider stacking rockets. Also, you can remove the floor of these rockets, and they still function just fine. All right, you finish that off. Once that's finished, we have cored out a hole at the... I keep forgetting how long this tunnel is going to be. We've cored out this area out here. Some of the steam will escape. We can live with that. This is more just to prep the system. And... ooh, shine bug. Yep, this isn't going to end well for your species. I'm afraid death may be on the cards for you. All right, done, and done. You were referred to as Cargo 1. All right, Cargo 1. Yeah, launch mission. Go for it. It's heading to this location. We'll set it up on infinite loop repeat later on. Okay. And immediately the steam starts to condense. It's got to preheat everything that's in here. That's fine. Hell yeah. Building melted. Fire pole. Yeah, that seems about right. Stuff's 2,000 degrees. There's going to be a little bit overheating here at the start. Ooh. Not a lot of steam. Not a lot of steam, but over a long enough area, that should be sufficient. We're going to let some of that escape into the background of space. It's still going to heat this area up, but we want to sort of get a sort of a low-grade pressure of steam going on. Now you guys immediately start pumping. You need to go there. You need to go there. Why not? Get them all moving. Building melted. Ladder? What? That ladder should be made of obsidian. How did the obsidian melt? Did I make the wrong material? Its melting point is 2726 degrees, so I presume I messed up. No, all of these are made of obsidian. Unless that... Oh, that's all igneous rock. Well, that's a mistake. Oh my god, there's granite up there. Obsidian. Yeah, all the way up. You gotta use obsidian because that stuff's the only thing with enough oomph to it. And, well, deconstruct these. We don't need those in the way. They're just more stuff that's probably going to get... Well, I suppose at this point it'll probably melt. All right. In that case, I think that worked quite well. If we can get enough steam in here to fill a couple of the rocket capsules, that would be nice. Oh. And we have liftoff. How are you looking? Ah. Ate the steam like a champ. And what I think we need to do is maybe put in a few temperature shift plates. Just to speed up the steam transferring its heat into the bunker tiles. Once we get the pressure in here to like 40, 50, 100 kilos of steam, much easier. It'll level out everything and it'll be much more not sustainable. Much more even-keeled. The problem at the moment we face is there's going to be massive fluctuations in temperature as we inject a whole bunch of really hot steam, and then like it'll take us ages to get that steam down because it's sort of spread out, dispersed, and like some areas will be really hot and we won't be able to level out the temperature. How are we looking on that gas front? It's okay, I suppose. And I never set the steam pressure on these, did I? It should take exactly 643 kilos of steam to get to the nearest planet and back again, carrying absolutely nothing. Yeah, we're not even bringing back cargo from these planets. The only purpose of these things is to rotate out and just come back. And every time they leave and come back, they inject steam into the system. And they're powered by, well, partly the steam they create, because, well, we're going to suck steam out of the rocket chimney to feed all the rockets. So they're basically free steam and power. And later on, not just yet, I'm trying to get this thing all worked out. Later on, what we'll start doing is up the top here. What we'll do is we'll remove a few bricks here and there, and we'll start shunting the steam indirectly. So we'll be sucking steam directly out of the tunnel. And then instead of pumping the steam or the output back in, we'll have that water just come out the side and drop down into our water tank until the water tank fills to the top. That would be the plan. But now, we just got to keep running this rocket back and forth. Well, that seemed to work quite nicely. All we got to do now is put in some automation to make sure that rocket lands, refuels, takes back off, and does it all over again. And since all of this thing runs on is basically water, we electrolyze water to make oxygen and hydrogen, and we get water back out of the system. Well, not yet, but we will. And we get power out of the system. The power and water necessary to run the rockets is self-sustaining. So it's basically a self-sustaining reaction where you get out more energy than you put in. And yes, I know that doesn't make sense, but that's kind of half the fun. I mean, if you're willing to put in the time and the effort to make a rocket tunnel this large, I think Clay were just like, you know what? If you want to do it, go for it. It's fine. I mean, most people aren't going to bother. They're going to quit by this point. But it is kind of fun. Now, let's just see how ridiculous we can make this. We can chuck Adam into the second rocket and get them launched immediately as well. Might as well get some more steam going on in here. All we have to do is put in some insulate pipes. I've basically set insulate to, well, we're turning all the isoresin we get into insulate for now. This has set us up with 2 rockets, and we probably be putting on a third and a fourth. And all aboard. Excellent. You deconstruct that. Something's wrong. I think I'm going to have to restart. Something is off about when I hit buttons, it's not responding correctly. I think the game might be having a little bit of a seizure. How much steam pressure are we up there? Yeah, like not even a kilo. We need to get that steam pressure. We got to pump those numbers. There goes rocket number 2, and plenty of steam. Oh, that's 2,000 degrees. Please don't overheat the gas pumps. No, we're good. We're good, just about. Overheat damage? No. Then, on the right side, these should now be almost... Actually, they're not full. We need to get these guys up to about 600 kgs and change, and they're not quite there yet. But, hopefully, soon. Once they've filled, we can start launching these, and once these launch, the steam pressure should start rising in here rapidly. I don't think we need any more water in here. These things are actually chucking along just fine for now. These things over here, yeah, where you can actually see where the heat is actually getting injected to all of these. A little bit of extra power coming in. Not quite all the way to the top yet, but give us some time. Oh, and you guys can all go. Whoop, whoop. Yes, we could use chain to deconstruct, but I'd like to keep the mods to a minimum. All right. Yeah, the blueprint one was definitely essential for doing this. Like, this is just so much repetitive work getting all of that done. But I think it's totally worth it. Well, so far. We'll see what happens now. Once we get the steam rockets running, we'll know for sure how well this is going to work. Oh, while that is going on, there's a couple of other things we can do here. Just some admin back home. Basically, we don't have to worry about a couple of dupes ever needing their beds again. Their beds are well, they're currently entombed in those rockets. They have no purpose for these beds. Okay, I think I missed an update, but normally even people in rockets would keep their seat assignments and their bed assignments, but they seem to have been wiped clean. Either that or we were not giving them beds and dinner table assignments. Right. I should really check the patch notes at some point, shouldn't I? But never mind. With that done, how are you looking? Please tell me you're almost full. No, 350, 313, 400 kilos, 415. Oh, these two at the top are actually not doing too bad. Maybe one more launch. Yeah, one more launch should get these full up. Oh, wait, we won't have to actually launch anything. We just have to land. And, oh, there's our first artifact. One of what is going to be a lot. Building melted. What? Ladders. Oh, sorry, fire poles. That's fine. I'm sure it turned immediately into iron. Yep, the iron ore turned immediately into iron because we melted it in here by accident. That's fine. Yeah, okay. We also have to finish out the these things, the conveyor rails. Right now, I can't reach that inner part, so we could have the choice of either putting in a gantry or we could just deconstruct this. That would probably be simpler. What do you contain at the moment? Ooh, fullerene. What is the melting point of fullerene? 3,000 degrees. You know what? That's fine then. Then in that case, we can just deconstruct this, empty the storage, put that as a level 7. Yeah, let's not go too crazy here. Level 9's a bit high. Yeah, level 7 collection. Then what we can do is deconstruct this, get a ladder tile in a bit closer. Oh, is that all we need? That should be all we need, actually. Cancel deconstruct. Let's just put a ladder segment in there. We should be able to build that, in which case we can do the same over here. And we should be able to finish off that conveyor rail. That means all of them will get conveyed out. Then we need to put in a little bit of automation to make sure they launch and land forever. Which reminds me, I think these ones over here should be much simpler. Give me some... Yeah, tungsten is... I don't think we need tungsten over here. Steel will be fine with steam rockets. This is the automation port on the rocket. It sends a green signal when the rocket checklist is complete. Otherwise, it sends a red signal. So we'll connect that to the bottom port, which is the send a green signal, launch the rocket. So the moment the checklist is complete, that will launch. Yeah, and yeah, and yeah. Now this one's going to be a bit more complicated. Reason being is we want to get the cargo off it first. Now, this needs 166 kilos of fuel and 166 kilos of oxygen. Assuming we're putting it in 10 kilos per second, it's going to take 17 seconds to fully load this rocket. So, I say we just put a cargo sensor. If there's cargo on the rail, don't launch. If there's no cargo on the rail, and you're full of fuel, launch. So, we just need an AND gate. Should be fairly straightforward. Shipping is going to be conveyor rail germ sensor. No, conveyor rail element sensor, conveyor rail thermal element sensor? I just want to make sure there's something on it. Sends a green signal when the selected item's on the rail. No, I just want to make sure something's on the rail. So it turns out we can't get a conveyor rail sensor for just anything. So I figured the easiest thing to do is the maximum we're ever going to bring back is a ton. 20 kilos a second per ton works out at about 50 seconds. So let's say 51 seconds? We'll keep it here for 51 seconds once it turns green. That should be about right. Actually, wait, no, it'll take 16 seconds to load. So 51 seconds minus 16? Yeah, whatever. We've got time. We can figure this out. They're going to be launching and landing for the next eternity anyway until we fill the map with water. Before we launch these again, I'd actually like to sync them up if at all possible. And I think it's time we launch some of these steam rockets, which means the sarcophagus crew are going to have to come out of training. Most of them should be good to go. Let's have a check. Sarcophagus 1, you've got 7 points left over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You only need 5. So we just got to do that. And you are ready to graduate. In fact, We need 4 of you, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the rest of you are, well, yep, you're all trained up. You've got plenty of points left over. Nice. Then we got to make sure that they are set to get out of here. Now they can never return to training. And at the same time, we have to allow them at the front door. All done. They are now ready to become fully qualified astronauts. Oh, should we give them... No, they don't need any fancy clothing. Where they're going, they don't need it. So, time to start filling up the rockets. Yeah, number 1, 2... We've actually industrialized this quite nicely. 3 and 4. Finished. We'll keep the named astronauts for the rockets with more of a purpose, let's just say. Not that any of them are purposeless, it's just there's more purpose in some of them than others. Right, rockets returned. We haven't actually put any automation on the top one, but the conveyor veils are getting rid of the resources. Perfect. And I do really need to start getting these steam rockets launched. Oh, just got to take out the floors so there's a path out for all of them. I've disconnected the automation wires for now. We want to launch them a little bit after that. We want to make sure there's a continuous stream of steam just one after the other. So it's going to take them about, 2.5 days round trip or something like that. We'll try and even it out so that they launch and land at a pretty consistent interval to keep steam filling up the place. We have a decent amount of steam in there now, but I prefer that to go up to several dozen kilos. It would hopefully prevent these scaldings from happening. It's fine, it's only some minor scaldings. Never hurt anyone. Oh, I made a mistake. I left some automation in place. I was trying to get all 7 rockets configured and ready for a good launch. But then I forgot about that. It's okay. It's okay. We can wait till it comes back. How long is that going to take for you to come back here? 2.7 cycles. So what I'm going to do is take all 7 of these. We've got the crew inside all of them. We were just waiting on a few bits and bobs. And we're going to launch this one, then this one, then this one, then this one, this one. One after the other. And then over 2.7 cycles, all of them would launch and return. So there was an even spread. So there'd be constantly steam getting injected into the tunnel. That would help keep the steam stable. Plus, the temperatures of the steam rockets is much lower than the regular rockets, than the hydrogen ones. So it would definitely help even out the temperatures in here when there's a big rocket launch with a hydrogen rocket putting a whole ton of heat in there. Yeah, we'll just have to wait till he comes back, and then we can launch them all. Every single last one of them. Actually, might as well launch a bunch of them now to get this place prepped. I mean, why not? They're all good to go. Those top 3 still need to be filled. We'll just put in the automation wires for them. That should add a few kilos of steam pressure. Nice. And that is where all of our water is going to come from. Expecting a little bit more now that I think about it. Maybe they have nerfed the output again. Maybe not. We'll have to see. You got to remember, all we got to do is put about 600 kilos back into each one of these rockets. 643 kilos. Anything on top of that is a bonus. So I'm not sure. We should be getting more out than we put back in, but only time will tell, I suppose. While we wait for our steam rockets to do a round trip, we might as well get these guys going. Give me an automation wire. We've already got them in, so... Done. Wait, why are you not going? Missing gantry, unassigned, unreachable storage. Missing... No astronaut assigned? There's an astronaut... You're good to go. You're not. What did I miss with you? Somehow, your duplicate got out. Yunners? How? How did you escape? That shouldn't have been possible at all. Get back in here, you little sneak. There he is. Sneaky little Muppet thought he could get away with that. No. Once we take that away, I must have actually... When I was going through the rockets, I must have clicked something to assign or unassign him, or maybe I tried to accidentally assign him to another rocket. I'll have to be more careful about that. If he's on the ground, he probably just dropped right out of the rocket, and I never noticed. Automation-wise, we have a 35-second timer set up on this. So even after it lands, it won't launch for 35 seconds. That gives plenty of time for the cargo to get loose. And, well, okay, it's going to have to fuel first before it even starts. And... done. And we should see all of those steam turbines start to come to life now. What I'm going to want to do as well is put in temperature plates. We've got some diamond ones down here, and we want to be able to draw the temperature from this side over to the left side to get injected into the steam turbines. And as you can see, they're all starting to kick on there. Once we get those rotating at, well, with regularity, what's the pressure like up there? Yeah, we're up to like almost 2 kilos near the top. It's a little bit lower down here because, well, we're draining it to put into the steam rockets, but I think this is good so far. All we'll do now is we will wait until, where is it? Cargo 1 gets halfway there. Once it's halfway there, we'll launch Cargo 2, and we'll let them both just sit there on repeat forever, generating lots of heat and steam. There's a very, very tasty injection of steam. All right, we're going to have to wait until all of those rockets fill back up again. I have to include that in the calculations for how we want to launch these. I want to try and get these lined up so that they launch and land just preferably very consistently and very spread out, just to keep the steam pressure in here nice and high. That's going to be cargo number 2. Both of them are now rotating perfectly. Well, in theory. Let's see what happens when the first one lands. It should automatically unload its cargo, unless it melts the tungsten wires. And then after it's unloaded its cargo, it'll automatically launch again. Again, unless it melts the tungsten steel or the tungsten wires we put in there, which have a melting point of 3,421.9 degrees centigrade. Seems like it should be fine, so long as we keep enough steam pressure in here. You guys almost finished fueling? It takes a while. I had to redo my calculations for these guys to figure I can launch them at the right times, because I realized it's going to take them a whole day to fuel up. 643 kilos actually takes, well, there's 600 seconds in a day. We can only put in a kilo a second, so it actually takes an entire cycle and then 43 seconds into the next cycle to fill these. Yeah, I forgot how slow steam rockets are, but we're already up to, what, 4 kilos of steam pressure down here? 3 or 4 kilos of steam pressure to throw out the entire tunnel? Pretty much, yep. Everything below the top end. Top end's going to, well, the pressure's going to bleed off a bit because, well, we got space sucking down as much of it as it can. And that's going to get worse once we start feeding them into the steam turbines. But that we're almost there. Once these are full, we're going to launch them all. I'm going to have to time them out. But once it's done, this should be just a beautiful synchronized up and down of all the rockets, making sure we get all the resources we need. Right, steam rocket, we're going to launch you. Next one will be launched once that one's about 0.5 complete. Next one will be launched when it's at 1 complete, then 1.6, then 2.1, then 2.69, and then the last one has to be launched at about 3.2, which is actually, yeah, I'm going to have to figure that out. But it's fine. We have a little bit of time to do all the last of the numbers while these things start with the rotations. Okay, what we're at now is about 2.2. I need to launch every rocket at about 0.5. That's actually 0.5, 1, 1.6, 2.1. There's time to it. But I figure what we'll do now is we can launch this rocket here. We've got all the rockets list here, and yes, this is the one. So we launch that one. Now the next rocket needs to be launched at about, like a whole cycle after the first rocket was launched. So I've decided I'm just going to use a timer because that would make more sense. We'll reset this timer now. In 300 seconds, which is half a cycle from now, the bing will go off and it will pause the game. Then it'll launch the next rocket. In fact, I've had a thought of this. I could have just set this up beforehand to all the rockets and then got them all to launch. Oh, which reminds me, I should now make sure that the automation wires between all of these are set up. So when they do land, they're ready to launch again the moment they're finished. Oh, cargo ship is back. Cargo ship is back. Okay. Please work. Please don't mess up. All right, plan. It's instantly starting to get refueled. That should take 17 seconds. 17 seconds for it to fill up because it's 10 kilos per second. This should start unloading. Now, at the start, it's going to come back with a full ton every single time. However, this has not activated yet. It sends a green signal when the checklist is complete. The checklist should complete once it has enough fuel. It doesn't seem to count having cargo in it as a problem. So once the fueling is done... Is it? Huh. Doesn't count that it's finished. Okay, emptied cargo. Actually, never mind. So it's going to wait until all the cargo is gone. And come on. Are you done yet? There, green. Alright, so cargo is done. But what we want to do is make sure all of that stuff gets off the line. Once it gets past this bridge segment, it should be grand. So we'll just put a delay on it of... 5 seconds should be fine. Actually, make that 3 seconds. And complete. And all the cargo still gets pushed off the line. And this guy launches immediately again. In which case, we're going to want to change this to 3 seconds as well. And our notifier went off, which is good. We set that up because I would have missed it entirely. Letting us know that 3 seconds passed. I should have set that to 323, actually. Give me another 23 seconds. Yeah, 23 seconds from now I should actually launch it. Done. And in 23 seconds, we'll launch this command capsule, and 323 seconds later, the next one, the next, and so on and so forth. Perfect. 323 seconds. But why did that not ping me? It should have immediately set off a notifier. You know what? It's fine. We'll reset it in a second. You need to be launched. You're, oh god. Launched. Oh. You need to be set to 323 seconds. Reset timer. Done. And then 323 seconds, we launch the next one. Perfect. Steam pressure is looking 5 kilos and rising. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Rocket number 4 successfully timed out. Next up, rocket number 5. Ooh, our first steam rocket is back. Did you bring us any prezzies? Teapot. Perfect. Now, the thing is, it's going to take it 643 seconds to fuel up, which is why this last rocket hasn't even launched yet. Even after this rocket's launched, that one will still be there for about another 300 and something seconds. But then another rocket will have landed around the same time we're launching this one. It should, in theory, mean that we have a consistent stream of steam rockets dumping excess steam in here to keep the temperature well balanced and a good compression level of steam. Right now, we can see that most of these are on. Why are you not? You should be much hotter. It's 260 degrees, you're 300. It seems the temperature is much hotter here. I think what's happening is it's because we're missing a steam turbine bank because of this carbon dioxide vent, which is very inconveniently placed. We could have put in a smaller 2 steam turbine thingy there. Not worth the effort. Plus, or at this point, we've already put in the cooling loop above it. We could extend that cooling loop now to think about it, though. Thing is, this is only cooling 9 turbines, this one cooling loop with one aquatuner, so we could extend that on and cool an extra 2 down there. Nope. We're not going to worry about it. First off, we're going to get our steam rockets launching. Once the steam rockets are launching, we're going to start harvesting some of the steam out of the top of the chimney. And then once that is done, then we can start taking care of other stuff. There goes the last steam rocket. Finally, okay, all of that is configured. We can now deconstruct this stuff. Get rid of the automation wires. Now, it will get, of course, a little bit more complicated. We're going to start introducing more rockets into the steam tunnel, but no more steam rockets. I think we've got enough steam rockets for now. We're probably going to put in another couple of cargo rockets, though. These two, since they're going to be going back and forth to these 2 planets, they're going to strip mine them clean. Then we're going to need to have a 3rd rocket out to somewhere else, preferably fullerene. I would like to get my hands on more fullerene. There's trace amounts there. Yeah, is that the next closest source of fullerene? Yeah, well, no, we got some here. You know what? Might as well hook this one up now. I mean, I don't see any reasons not to go there. We want iron. Copper's never terrible. Obsidian we can always use for high temperature stuff. Fullerene's great and the other slight. Yeah, okay, but it's nice and close. It has a good replenishment rate, 83 kilos a cycle. This one's 166.7, so yeah, just configure a rocket, fire it out there and put an infinite repeat. We could hit up the oil asteroid as well. And then we'd get, we'd get more niobium. If we put only a solid cargo on it, we'd get, all of our stuff would be solid, meaning we'd get twice as much as everything else roughly, because the liquids take up 48%. Wait, 47? 47% of all the output is liquid, so if we ignore that, we'll just get nothing but solid carbon dioxide, solid methane. You know what? I don't want to be messing around with that stuff in the tunnel. That stuff will, it'll melt. It's not worth the effort. I think, we'll just plug in this one right now. 1 landing, 1 launching. Timing perfect. We're dumping lots of steam in here. 9 to 10 kilos. Oh, another landing? Hells yeah. Let me finish. Once this rocket launches, which should be pretty quick, the turnaround on the hydrogen rockets is just ridiculous, and the heat production as well. But once that one starts launching, we'll immediately put in a floor right here so we can start building the next rocket. In fact, I wonder if we can... It's got to go right there on top of the other one, but we need to leave enough room for a floor. So we'll put it there. We'll stick the tiles under it. Then it's going to be built the same way as the last ones. 1 liquid oxidizer tank. Ooh. In fact, oh, damn it, I was trying to line them up perfectly just so that we could do it. Never mind. A liquid fuel tank right on top of that. And then finally a command capsule. Perfect. Then we'll fill it in with a floor underneath it, mesh tiles, because, it's just how I roll. And done. Now, we do have to put... Oh, nope. Cargo module. I literally had a rocket there to work with as a blueprint, and I somehow still messed it up. I'm trying to remember when you had to start selecting what material your cargo was made out of. I would like to make that out of obsidian, because obsidian has a very high melting point. I think it's unlikely it's going to melt igneous rock in here anytime soon, but you never know. And then we're also going to want to get a gantry in here so that people can get in and out of the rockets. That means we're probably going to have to... It's fine. We'll put some ladder segments over this direction. We'll delete a few. We should be able to stick in one real quick. You know what, Paddy Wagon? I think it's time you got yourself your own command capsule. Forever and ever. We just got to finish off getting the rocket engine in place. I just want to get the rocket engine in real quick, because once that's in, we can delete the floor. Otherwise, if a rocket starts to land about now, it's going to smash that floor to bits. And I think we lose all the steel. Done. And we're also going to have to put in the piping. Alright, where is it? Nope. Insulated pipe made out of insulite. Right, it takes 400 kilos of insulite to make one insulite pipe. Well, insulated insulite pipe, which is all you'd ever really use it for anyway. To make 100 kilos of insulite, it takes 5 units of reed fiber. So that means it takes 20 units of reed fiber for each one of those pipe segments. Now, how many pipe segments have we run so far? So roughly about 50 pipe segments of each type, for one for the liquid oxygen, 50 for the liquid oxygen, 50 for the liquid hydrogen. So that's 100 pipe segments. That's 20 reed fiber for each one of those. That's 2,000 reed fiber that cost us. 2,000. Like, we have 28,000 units of reed fiber because we figured we were going to need it, especially now as we're also going to have to keep extending this up. Every time we add on a new rocket, we got to run more of this insulated piping to feed it. This time, though, I'm going to be smarter about it. Instead of running the pipes like this, I'm just going to run them straight down the center. Saves a whole bunch of time and effort. Suppose I could have run these out to this there and then did them up and down. It might have saved us some time. You know what? I might rejig the piping later. Once we've got our hands on a little bit more insulate. For now, we're running a little bit low. If we check under, say, liquid pipes, we have got 3,600 kilos left. Not a lot. Not a lot at all. That's about... Oh, it's about 10 pipes left. Shouldn't some of you be launching already? You should be almost full. Yep, never mind. There we go. Timing, and timing some more. That worked out really well. We've also got a ton of robot arms and stuff down here. Oh, that was it. There was one other place I want to go to. I think 3 rockets running continuously should be more than sufficient, but there was a long-term goal. On every one of these planets, there's these artifacts you can bring back. They're the ones we put up for decoration, basically. But there's either nothing, which you get 50% of the time, and then there's already 1, 2, and 3, with, 3 being better than 1, so to speak. And the odds are listed over here. And if we head to, I believe this one here, we can get class 4 artifacts. And this one here is the closest one that will give us rarity 5 artifacts. And you have 1 in 10 chance every time we go. There's also one over here, same 1 in 10 chance. You can get slightly better than 1 in 10 chance if you go further out. It's just, well, the return trips when you get out this far are so far, like it's 20% odds here. So we've doubled our chances, but we've come up to 9,000 kilometers as opposed to just going to 4,000 kilometers and having a 10% chance. Usually just better to bounce back and forth. Plus, it generates us lots of heat and steam every time we make that run. I believe that's 1 more rocket set up and good to go. Now, this one we don't really care. It's going to be a different schedule to the original 2 rockets because, well, it's going out to this section here. So, not really much we can do about it. It'll come and go as it pleases, and hopefully it won't mess up with the other rockets. But I figure we're up to 11, 15, 10 kilos of pressure. And that's only going to keep rising. So we've got enough pressure in here now that we shouldn't have to worry about the heat spiking too much. Launches and landings, they're just going to be feeding that heat into a massive pile of steam. That will stabilize the temperatures out after a while. I still want to put in a few more temperature shift plates to help even out that temperature spread. Where would it be make the most benefit? Ooh, it's about 800-900 over here. All right, so around here is probably a good bet. And I should probably extend on these stairs a bit. Just makes navigation around here that little bit simpler. Right, fully functional rocket chimney. Pressure continuously rising. How are we looking on the hydrogen front? I'll have to double check our numbers on that, but I'm pretty sure we can definitely support 3 rockets, if not more. I'll keep an eye on that, but I don't even think we need a stockpile of hydrogen to keep this place running at full tilt. Then we need to... Actually, super coolant was a little bit of a bottleneck for us, but we're getting in more and more of it as we go. So that's those first 3-4 loops are all full of super coolant. And we got nectar, then a gap. The reason we put in nectar in this one, it was too long. This was going to be really long and took up a lot of super coolant, so I figured we would lowball this one, put it at 145, and worry about it later. This one here is the next one that's actually quite compact, and yeah, it's full now. Yeah, we can disable that, deconstruct, get rid of that, also deconstruct, and finally get rid of you. These fillers are so handy. Okay, that leaves us with 257 kilos of super coolant, and I figure we go up to the top. What we really want to do is start siphoning stuff out of here, so we want to fill the top loop. Top loop, then we can start running that at full tilt, and it might get a bit hot. We might have to stick in a second thermal aqua tuner just to keep cooling this down. I realize because, well, it's 300 degrees up here. So we'll worry about that later. For now, we're going to plug it in. If it starts to overheat and stutter, that is fine. But the first thing we're going to do is take out the nectar. We're going to take out the nectar, and then as the rockets come back, they'll start filling this up with more and more supercoolant. We've got 25 blobs. Oh, that's not enough, is it? 25 blobs is really not enough to even get this started. I mean, that's 17. That's 170 kilos. We need to let this run for a bit. Damn it. You'd think when you get to this scale, you wouldn't have to wait around for stuff to happen, but unfortunately, I think we do. We're going to need about 2,000 kilos of supercoolant to fill that loop, and right now we've got 857. Over here, we filled up this area with backing plates. We made them out of wood. Did not know you could do that. That's actually quite convenient. It means putting backing plates all across the top of the map for flooding is going to be so much handier. I thought we were going to start running out of stone. That's what happened last time I started doing something that's silly. But what we can do now is, once it's finished saving, is turn off a few of these steam turbines. If the temperature is above, yeah, you there. And you can do the same thing, and you can do the same thing. This way, those will all switch off. They're no longer going to be generating heat, which means this aqua tuner is only going to cool the top three, which we are now going to introduce directly. Can we backplate this? Yes, sorta. In the meantime, we'll just hook this up like that. Alright, that gets those moving. And there lands a rocket. That's more resources for us. Excellent. And we should have some dupes along in a wee bit. Alright, so we're going to have to actually put in a bunch of ladder segments. We're going to be walking across here continuously. Well, this is not perfect. We're not getting enough steam in here to get all the steam turbines running. But I figure it's just the pressure's still a little bit low. It's going to take time to build up. Like if we get down here, it's 10, 12, 15, 20, 24, 26, 27 kilos down here. And that's going to keep going up. So the pressure should get better and better as time goes by. And we're going to make two smaller loops here of coolant. Well, two small supercoolant loops here. But for that, we're going to have to... you need to go across like that, I think. Yeah. And we're probably going to have to filter out some of the nectar. We can't have all of it in here. We'll have half of it filtered out, let's say, and the other half can get smushed down the bottom. Okay, no, you can go. Excellent. Now this is a mini loop down below, and now we can turn this up here into a mini loop as well, with just a few pipe snips. Well, okay, there's some complications here. The problem is, let's say, over here it's like 600 degrees, 500 or 600 degrees. We go down a few levels, and it's now only 200 degrees, 2 to 3. So I think what's happening here is this. These are providing constant cooling. The moment we turn them into direct throughput devices, the direct cooling is gone, and at which point this starts to get really hot really quick. So I think what I need to do is, say, start splitting the levels. See, leave that one as a normal heat removal device, this one is a normal heat removal device, and then extract water through the center one. So I'll probably have to go through and rejig all of these to have one aqua tuner for every 9 steam turbines. Yeah, this is why you should... Well, I suppose you could have done this and tested it in a debug map, but it'd still take you so long. What's the point? Better off to just build it. Right, so have one aqua tuner per 3 steam turbine layers. Have that have supercoolant in it, and that way the one in the middle that's going to be getting steam that's just a little bit too hot will still be able to process it correctly. And that will give you about 6 kilos of water for these 3, let's say. That's assuming we can get enough gas pressure there. I'm going to assume the gas pressure is going to keep rising in here. But we're going to have to do that just to make sure that the pressure or the temperature goes down. For now, to stop these things from overheating, what we can do is we'll have one of these feed in. We'll cut those off there, cut those off there. And this guy's down here is, yeah, we'll just leave you doing your thing. Well, I mean, you're getting your cooling from down this section, so you shouldn't be too hot. That puts 2 kilos of the water back in, hopefully cools this place down a bit, and it helps. It doesn't actually get any real more steam over to these, and it's definitely going to cut down on the throughput we've got going on, but at least it tides us over for a little bit until we start implementing the 6 steam turbines, 3 aqua tuner cup protocol, whatever you want to call it. Oh, to get this stuff in there, I'm dropping it out here. It drops down here and then goes through the sort of gas liquid lock. This means there's always a blob of liquid right here, which means gases can't get up or down, because this area kind of feeds into the vacuum of space. We also didn't want any more gases getting with our trees. The moment the gases touches those trees, it stifles them. They can't survive temperatures above 15 degrees or negative 15 degrees. Yeah, negative 15 degrees. If it goes above negative 15 to, say, negative 14, they stifle and stop producing. We'd prefer, I'm going to have to, like, freeze these guys down to about 70 degrees. These guys can provide you with enormous amounts of cooling because the liquid they output, the nectar, it comes out at the same temperature as the tree. So if you cool the tree down to, say, minus 70, all the nectar out of it's going to be minus 70, which is a lot of cooling. Not that we need it right now. We've got power to throw a lot at brute force cooling. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Colony summary. Let's go look at our average power produced graphs. Yep, I don't know what that was. Might that have been when we... Like, why is there that much power there? What did we do? You know what, doesn't make a difference. But now you can see as the rocket chimney has come online, more and more power has been injected into the system. Yeah, that's just going to keep going. Average power wasted. Yeah, saw that coming too. Duplicants. Oh, the ups and downs. Rocket missions underway. Domesticated critters, wild critters. Average stress created. Ah, see this average stress created? That's where the oxalite bombs went off. Average work time, total work time, total travel time, calories, calorie generation, calorie consumption. You know, I think we're pretty good on that front. Power-wise, we shouldn't have to worry about power ever again, which means we could probably disconnect this, but this kind of produces us water. In fact, let's just turn that on and force it to produce us more water. The petroleum generator, we're not going to need the power from that anymore, but that also produces us water, so... And the water level is getting deliciously higher. The rocket chimney definitely needs a whole bunch of work, but the pressure in here is up to 31 kilos, 31, 32 kilos. That's just going to keep going up. And I figure if we can get, say, 1 out of every 3 steam turbines, well, 1 out of every 3 steam turbines, maybe 1 out of every 5, somewhere between there. We'll start with 1 out of every 3 and work our way from there. Just say we keep one of these sealed, say the middle one, and then the other 2 open. Ugh. No. 2 of these sealed, 1 of these opened. So we keep these 2 top ones sealed. We keep the bottom one open. That one sucks out the steam. Then we repeat the same. These 2 sealed. This one open. That one sucks out the steam from there. And repeat all the way down. We're doing it in blocks of 3. That should generate us just a lot of water. Like, just enormous quantities of water. Might drive up the heat in here a bit. It's going to require us to generate a whole bunch more supercoolant. That could take a little time. But the thing is, this thing is fully automated now. The rocket launches, landings, the production of all of the supercoolant, that is all 100% automated. We have left it on supercoolant forever. Insulate-wise, should we make that forever? What else do we need for insulate for? Actually, we've got enough viscosity. You know what? We'll leave the insulate on as well. That should give us more than enough to finish off the piping. If we need to add in a few more rockets, which we probably will, let's face it. Is there any other nearby ones we could go for fullerene? Basically, these 2 worlds here. Rocky asteroid and the satellite might be worthwhile. I don't even think we have enough. We might have enough insight to do that. Stick in 2 more hydrogen rockets, get them doing return trips to there. That will get us some more insulate. Well, we could at least use them temporarily. We'll also generate a bunch more heat, which could be a problem. I don't want to actually generate any more heat. I kind of want to keep the heat low and the steam high. More steam, less heat. That way we can extract more water from the tunnel. It's a bit different from our usual ones where power and a bit of water was the goal. Here, well, we got to flood a lot of map. Like, a lot of map needs to be flooded. We still have to, okay, brick in a bunch of places and make sure that they can't flood. But I want to maximize water production. So for that, if we can have 1/3 of the steam turbines extracting water, that might be the way to go about it. But anyway, I am way over time. This took far too long to get set up. Next up, we're going to rejig every single steam turbine top to bottom. We are going to have to make an awful lot of supercoolant, probably add in 2 rockets, but, you know, we're getting there. Slowly but surely. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed and good luck.